I want to watch this.
Annapurna Interactive. I almost see them as like the A24 of the gaming realm. They take the smaller projects that are not necessarily going to be these massive blockbusters or intended to be that way. They tend to be games from smaller studios with like really neat and unique creative vision, and they tend to fund those types of games, the ones that are really creatively and artistically driven. And so anything published by Annapurna Interactive always catches my attention. Some of their games that stand out to me include What Remains of Edith.
Oh yeah, yeah. They made this. I played Ashen a little bit. They made Journey. Or published Journey, anyways. Outer Wilds. Wow.
Edith Finch from back in 2017, Outer Wilds and Sayonara Wild Hearts in 2019, 12 Minutes in 2021, the one starring James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley and the like. There's Neon White and Stray in 2022,
Stray, yeah.
Cocoon in 2023, among many others. And I mean, you got the Blade Runner 2033 game that they're still working on. And alongside that, they also recently partnered with Remedy Games to finance Control 2. Right here, Remedy Entertainment announced the following: we're partnering with Annapurna to co-finance Control 2. We hope you're as excited about what this means.
Control was a really cool game. Like the physics behind it and the link between Alan Wake and everything is a really cool game. A lot of people really like that game. So I'm gonna be excited. I wonder if they'll have any kind of impact in the game, because I mean they're co-financing it, but I wonder if they'll have any impact other than just financial aid.
And ongoing independence as we are. We are also happy to announce that Annapurna will work with us on expanding the Control and Alan Wake franchises into film and TV. Annapurna as a publisher, I'd say, is the complete antithesis of what we're seeing from a lot of other AAA publishers, where it's all about those big blockbusters and chasing trends and live services and whatever. Annapurna actively seems to be looking for teams who are just making something interesting because they have a vision that they want to realize. And it's about like establishing new and interesting trends almost, or just games that just think outside the box, that are out of the norm, and in turn make them just extremely fascinating and stuff that pushes the boundaries of like what you can achieve with this medium, and that highlights what makes a video game special. Now, we started to see Trouble in Paradise back in September 6th of 2024 when the Hollywood Reporter released the following article in which they said that Annapurna president Nathan Gary has exited the company, which kind of came out of the blue. Nathan Gary is stepping down as the president and also departing from the company, and alongside him, co-heads of Annapurna's indie gaming division, Deborah Mars and Nathan Vela, are also departing, with Hector Sanchez having recently joined and being named the new president of the interactive division of Annapurna. And under Ellison, who is the owner of the parent company Annapurna, and her senior leadership, the company will integrate its in-house gaming operations with the rest of Annapurna's divisions, which include film, TV, and theater. So we saw an exodus of leadership from within Annapurna Interactive, which was kind of strange by itself.
Yeah,
but then right here we have
left.
A new report 6 days later, published on September 12, 2024, from Jason Schreier, who released the following article via Bloomberg titled "Annapurna Video Game Team Resigns, Leaving Partners Scrambling." So it's not just the leadership of Annapurna Interactive who resigned, the entire staff of Annapurna Interactive decided to leave the company and follow suit alongside the leadership, which is, I mean, kind of crazy.
Everybody.
This is what I call a boycott. It reads right here that the entire staff of Annapurna Interactive, the video game publishing division of Megan Ellison's Annapurna Studio, so Annapurna Studio is the parent company, Annapurna Interactive is one division of it, resigned this month following a dispute with its owner. President Nathan Gary and his team had been negotiating with Ellison to spin off the video game division as an independent entity, but that seemingly didn't work out. Ellison pulled out of negotiations, after which Gary and other executives resigned, which is what the Hollywood Reporter reported. But then that was followed by around 24 other staffers resigning. The entire collective of Annapurna Interactive deciding we're out. All 25 members of the Annapurna Interactive team collectively resigned. This was one of the hardest decisions we've ever had to make, and we did not take this action lightly, said Gary and the group in a joint statement. Now, there are very little details as to why they took such drastic measures, but a mass boycott like this doesn't happen unless a group is extremely unhappy with leadership. And that's
Yeah.
the aspect to
Like,
the
that's
story that's
crazy.
still a giant question mark. There are still many unresolved mysteries around what exactly the negotiations were about, why they wanted to separate Annapurna Interactive from Annapurna and kind of spin off to become independent, and what about leadership was so upsetting to these folks that they decided it was better
I
to
th-
mass
oh,
boycott Annapurna Interactive.
I think people I think they ended up getting annoyed because it went to, I mean, it was basically starting to be controlled by Epic. I don't know about this Ellison, this Megan Ellison, or even Larry Ellison. Um, I don't know much about them, but it's going to Epic, and I think people are getting more and more frustrated and annoyed with giant globalized companies with billions of dollars behind them who really just care about profits and not about good games. And I mean, it's a whole entire studio, which is crazy, but it's 25 people, which isn't a lot. But the fact that an entire studio resigned, that's the thing that says, you know what, we're done. We're not having this. We are not doing it. It's not us. If you want to do it, if you want to do what you want to fucking do, go and do it, but you're going to do it, not us. And they all left. And good. Why would you do something that you don't want to do? It's like the people who made Concord. They said that they don't even like games. Why are you making a video game if you don't even like video games? Stop. Get some help. Like, I don't know. It's a big problem.
Instead of deciding to stick with a company under the Annapurna leadership, under the leadership of Megan Ellison. Though the fact that Megan is the daughter of a billionaire, specifically billionaire Larry Ellison,
Yeah, I don't know about
might
him.
already suggest that she's in a privileged position where she maybe doesn't quite understand the needs and wants of creatives who are looking to
That's another problem. I mean, these people don't come from game development. They don't come from the trenches of game development. A lot of these people who have studios and, like do stuff like this, because video gaming and the gaming industry as a whole is being seen obviously as an industry. It never used to be an industry. It used to be a hobby. It used to be like playing Monopoly or something. I mean, like Monopoly itself, it's not an industry. There's a board game. There's an entertainment toy industry behind that. It's the same thing. These people are like, oh, well, this is an industry now. Let's just create this and it'll make money. It's like toys. There's thousand millions of different toys. If they fail, who cares? We have 1,600 other ones coming out the door. And I feel like that's what they're trying to get to with video games, and it's going to be fucking terrible because that's not what games are designed for. They're designed to be fun, they're designed to be experiences, not not just played for the fun of it. Not just, oh, we're just going to play a game because, oh, it's a video game. No. We want to play games because they're fun and because they're unique and they're different. They're interesting. They tell a story, whatever. Like, we want to be entertained. We don't just want to have a mindless job, press buttons over and over again. It's not fun.
make a company pursue the best intentions possible for the kinds of games that Annapurna Interactive tends to pursue and foster and nurture and help publish. I don't know. This is all speculative on my end, but usually corporate heads who are in the privileged position to be billionaires and all they care about is money don't tend to care much about the art form, but rather the results of what the art form can achieve
Yeah.
financially
Well,
for the
that's not
corporation
just the
and the
people.
corporate and financial interests.
That's not just people in the position like her. I mean, that's anybody who's any kind of investor in the gaming industry now. And that's what most companies are. They're just looking for profits. That's a very, very, very toxic mindset for game development to be in. And that's what it's in right now. It's what it's been in for years. We've just been blind to it. Like it's a bad place for the gaming industry, and I really hope that it starts to change, because I see a lot of people, and like a lot of games are coming out now. It's like, oh, this is changing the gaming industry, but I fear that it's really not. It's not actually changing anything.
Apparently, we are going to get more answers in the coming weeks. Jason Schreier is looking to get more information before he publishes a story about what exactly happened behind the scenes that caused this kind of mass quitting on the part of all Annapurna Interactive staff members and executives, and why they were not content enough with the current leadership structure to stick around, saying, I know there's still a lot of lingering questions about what happened at Annapurna Interactive and why the entire staff resigned. I'm still reporting and hope to publish a follow-up story in the coming weeks. So we'll find out soon enough, I suppose. In the meantime, though, we got Megan Ellison releasing the following statement to Bloomberg, stating, our top priority is continuing to support our developer and publishing partners during this transition. We're committed to not only our existing slate of games, but also expanding our presence in the interactive space as we continue to look for opportunities to take a more integrated approach to linear and interactive storytelling across film and TV, gaming, and theater. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of ongoing deals between Annapurna Interactive, the publisher, and the myriad game developers and game studios that they've partnered with.
Yeah.
So it's just been kind of chaos behind the scenes, with a lot of developers wondering if Annapurna will honor the deals that they've made, given the disruption that this mass exodus has caused within Annapurna Interactive. But a spokesperson seemingly insists that all existing games and projects will remain under Annapurna. And apparently the new president of Annapurna Interactive, Hector Sanchez, has reached out to developers and told them that the company will honor existing contracts and replace staff who have left, which is definitely good news. But it's important to note the massive leadership change that has occurred within Annapurna Interactive.
It's not
going to
be the
company
same,
conducts
the
itself
same studio.
starts at the top. And now with Annapurna Interactive no longer having its old guard and now being completely taken.
It's like the reason why we don't get the same Call of Duties, or we don't get the same anything. The same Blizzard games, the same Sony games, stuff like that. It's because these studios are gone. Like the original studios, even if the studio's still alive, it's like the boat. You know, I forget what his name is, but you know, it's like the separate ship theory, where if you replace every piece of a ship, eventually you'll have another ship, and then which one's the real ship? It gets to that point. Because these companies start as this, and slowly they get replaced piece by piece by piece by piece by piece, and it's the same company, but it's a completely different ship. It's made of different materials. It's different people. So I feel like that's another big problem that a lot of people don't fully see and don't fully understand.
Over by Annapurna, the parent company, alongside the president that they picked, Hector Sanchez. One has to wonder how that's going to change the relationship and dynamic between Annapurna Interactive and the developers who are placing their trust on this publishing outlet to kind of be the right kind of publisher for the kind of games that they intend to put out there into the world. So hopefully there isn't an adverse impact on the developers. Like, sure, the contracts are being honored, but in terms of what that relationship is like, hopefully the heads will ultimately honor the culture that has drawn the sort of smaller teams and developers to place their trust in Annapurna Interactive, and hopefully it won't become this really seedier and scummier publisher with more nefarious intentions amidst this leadership transition. We'll see that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of worried. Hey, Asaya. Yeah, so I'm kind of worried because it's Epic. So I feel like they're just gonna throw in a bunch of employees from all over the place. These employees aren't gonna know what they're doing in any given game, and they're just gonna start ruining things. I mean, this company it should be shut down. it should be done. The company's done. I don't know why they're continuing. I feel like it's just gonna hemorrhage money, and they're gonna try to make it work, and it's not gonna work, and then they're just gonna close it. I feel like it's what has to happen, but they want to honor the contract because if they don't honor these contracts, then they could be held liable. They could be sued or have other penalties placed against them. They'll have to pay for, I mean, the damages or a loss of wages, whatever's deemed. And they don't want to have to do that at all.
Only time will tell. Now, another major lingering question is what will happen to this deal that Remedy Entertainment made with Annapurna, where Annapurna would co-finance Control 2, and they would work together to expand the Alan Wake franchise into other mediums. Apparently, this is a deal that is still intact and won't be
Hi, Asai. I hope you're doing good.
impacted by the mass exodus, with Jason Schreier tweeting, since a lot of people are asking, Remedy's deal for Control 2 and Alan Wake is with a broader company, Annapurna Pictures, and it is not impacted by the departure of Annapurna Interactive.
Okay. So they're saying that Alan Wake and Control 2 will not be affected by the departure of all these staffs, all the staff members. Okay.
Staff. So Annapurna Interactive, again, is a subdivision of Annapurna as a whole.
Well, I guess they never really said they had any developers. They only said they were co-financing Control 2. So I don't know if previous to all of this, Annapurna had anybody in Control 2 or Alan Wake. If not, then this makes sense. But if they had people working on these games from Annapurna previous to all of this, then it is going to affect it because those people knew what they were doing, knew what they had to do, or what the game was supposed to be about, and they're gone. Like, what are you supposed to do?
And it seemed as though the parent company, Annapurna, is still working closely with Remedy, and that aspect of things will remain intact. So that means that Remedy can still fund Control 2. Do keep in mind that while Alan Wake 2 garnered a lot of praise and a lot of critical acclaim, it did not sell as well as Remedy would have liked. And so Control 2, if they want to make that sequel, they do need some financial help from a publisher like Annapurna. Fortunately, they're still receiving that, and so we can still move ahead with the assumption that Control 2 will be funded, and it is a game that will be made, and that's certainly a game that I'm very excited about. Remedy, I think, is one of the most underrated studios, and I think their games need to sell more, and hopefully Control 2 will be the lightning in the bottle moment for Remedy that will allow them to become the next major.
I mean, they're not major, but Remedy's already like a really, really good developer. I mean, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about Remedy. I mean, besides some weirdos and losers. But Control's very widely well received. It was a very good game, had solid shooting, a lot of cool mechanics, and an interesting story. You know, I haven't heard anybody who really dislikes it, so yeah.
Developer that is more kind of like an independent entity. I feel like Remedy is close to making the kind of breakthrough that Larian did eventually after years of working on games and kind of sticking to their identity, and then Baldur's Gate 3 just was a big home run for them. I feel like Remedy can become the kind of next Larian, the smaller studio, the underdog that eventually becomes this big studio and stick to their core values and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So I really wish Remedy the best of luck. But as far as Annapurna Interactive goes, this is kind of everything we know, and I'm deeply concerned. Again, I label this particular segment of Annapurna as the A24 of the gaming sector. This is like the really juicy stuff with a lot of interesting artistic and creative elements that need publishers like Annapurna Interactive and that need to be put out there to not have the gaming industry just become about chasing AAA trends and about massive budgets that are untenable and about just everything becoming a little too monotone in the creative intentions. We need smaller teams to just think outside the box and continue doing so, and
Yes.
establishing like new
We
trends.
need smaller teams because smaller teams cost less money to run, so they're able to take more risk. More risk equals more eyes, because if you have a game that takes a lot of risks, 9 times out of 10 there's going to have a lot of attention on that game because it's a pretty risky game. And especially if it takes risks and looks interesting, immediately the media's all over it, the internet's all over it, people are buying it, people are emailing the developer trying to help with it, doing all, like, it gets so much attention and praise and love. If it's unique, if it like looks fun to play, and if it takes risks. And only small developers can really afford to get away with that, because big developers, they spend too much money, and they don't want to waste their money. They don't want to have a $400 million loss like Concord. So they make Spider-Man 64 for the 80th time. You know, like, they make Spider-Man for the 80th time. You know, we're on Spider-Man 64, and not the old Spider-Man. This is like Spider-Man fucking 80 years from now.
And doing stuff that market research could never predict. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
hopefully things will turn out okay for Annapurna Interactive in the long run. Hopefully this exodus followed by the, I guess, takeover won't result in the degradation of the integrity of Annapurna Interactive, and hopefully those who exited Annapurna Interactive will land on their feet and find a way to have their intentions be realized with their own separate endeavors, hopefully. And I'll be very curious to find out what about Annapurna's leadership, the parent company's leadership, and what about Megan Ellison's leadership and this notion of not being independent from Megan Ellison's Annapurna studio made it so
It it might be controversial. I don't even care. I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Annapurna should fail. They should be shut down. They should have repercussions. They clearly did something that made all 25 members, an entire team, an entire development team, leave in a single month. This wasn't like it took 6 months or no, they left that month. Clearly, clearly it's not working. Clearly it's a bad company, and clearly it doesn't deserve to be up. That's it.
untenable to stick around and made it a necessity to quit en masse. The story will develop, and I'll keep you guys updated. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on all
Top
this, and
patron,
what
big
you think
boss.
might have happened behind the scenes, and what your prospects are for the future of Annapurna Interactive, given this paradigm shift for the company. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see
Yeah.
you guys next time. Young out.
Okay, bye. That's gonna be for later. Yeah, I mean, I think Annapurna needs to fail. I think if you have 25 developers leave your development team, leave your company in a single month, I think you're destined to fail, and I think there's no point in even trying.